Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the benefits of veganism while eating my favorite type of food, meat. So today we're going to look at veganism through the lens of objectivity. That means we're just going to look at all of the benefits as stated by scientific fact and what it has to offer us. Cheers. We're just going to go through this together, okay? I got a bunch of facts here. We're just going to go through it. So a couple studies at the universities of Yale and Harvard have talked about the benefits of vegetarian lifestyles and vegan lifestyles having a lot lower calorie diets. This also includes having lower saturated fats and lower cholesterol, making vegans less likely to be overweight, which comes with a plethora of health benefits. When compared with other vegetarians, vegans tended to have the lowest BMI and had lower total cholesterol levels. This made them less likely to be susceptible to cardiovascular disease. Also, on top of that, vegans have a higher consumption of whole grain soy and nuts, right? All of which provide significant cardioprotective results. So let's talk about cancer and diet. This is so good. So data from the Adventist Health Study showed that non-vegetarians actually had a higher risk of colorectal and prostate cancer, among a couple others. It's worth noting that those of us who are in the highest bracket of red or processed meat intake have elevated cancer risks from 20 to 60%. On top of that, vegans by nature consume more fruits, legumes, and vegetables, all of which have nutrients that help combat and are protective against cancer. These seem like wild claims, I know, but I swear to God, read the studies below. In his latest documentary, A Life on Our Planet by David Attenborough, he was quoted saying that the quickest way to combat climate change is to free up more land for the wilds. And he said the quickest way to do that, and I quote, is to change our diet. He says, if we all had a largely plant-based diet, we would only need half the land we use at this moment. And because of that, we would be more dedicated to raising plants. He goes on to talk about how in the Netherlands they have an amazing farming system that would be hyper efficient and help us reverse climate change in our own lifetimes, which is pretty crazy. It's worth noting that being a vegan is not perfect. There are some potential nutritional downfalls, which include N3 polyunsaturated fat, vitamin D, iron, vitamin B12, and zinc. N3 polyunsaturated fats, a fancy term to talk about a fat that helps with your cardiovascular system and your eye and brain health. It is important to note that if you have a supplement for it, you are at a higher risk of prolonged and excessive bleeding. It is probably a better option for you to have more brown kelp in your diet instead of the algae alternatives. If you're a vegan, you should watch your vitamin D intake and probably consider taking some fortified foods. For everything else, a multivitamin and supplement will usually get you where you need to be. It's like most people in the modern world. So I guess the question is, if you don't have health problems, if you don't care about the environment, you don't care about the ethical issues, which we haven't talked about, why should you become a vegan? Why should you make the switch? Clearly, I haven't. I'm not a vegan. What am I saying? You know, let me give you my 2 cents after doing a lot of research and what I think about veganism. So I found there are a couple intriguing factors that are for the argument of becoming a vegan. One of which is what I consider the traveler's diet. And it's where if you switch up your diet, i.e. try something like veganism, it keeps your body guessing and it's supposed to keep your metabolism up, which sounds like just a great way to give yourself more energy throughout the day. And also you get to try all these cool foods. The second thing is veganism can actually help you with your budget. There's a myth out there that being a vegan is pretty expensive, and while that is partially true, you could also stick to staples like lentils, rice, beans, and instead of being on a very meat-heavy diet, you end up just saving some money. And the last thing is there's just zero guilt about being a vegan. I'm not gonna lie, meat is super tasty, and I will definitely continue to eat it. But in the future, I think I'm probably going to be less reliant on it. Just because after doing all this research, it seems like it's just a better thing for the world. So I think I'm gonna give it a shot. Let me know if you will too. Until next time.